Marvin Sapp said his Sunday service title is going to be Close the Door for Easter Sunday, y'all. Not He is Risen, not Roll the Stone Away. Marvin about to say Close the Door on Easter Sunday, y'all, because Marvin said he is going to capitalize off of this thing also. Not only is he going to have the sermon on Easter Sunday saying Close the Door, and shout out to Bishop Miller for sending me this. Bishop Miller sent me this video. But not only is Marvin Sapp going to be talking about sermon on Easter Sunday saying close the door, but Marvin Sapp is also, you guys, he's made a song about it. Wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. Y'all remember that. He wrote a song, you guys, and it's real. He wrote this song, and the song title, y'all want to hear what the song title is? The church sermon for Sunday morning is Close the Door. That's the church Sunday, Easter Sunday, y'all. I'm not kidding. His song title that he made this song specifically for this Sunday service. New single coming out. Title of the song, Close the Door. Close the Door.
So as you all know, we talked about Marvin Sapp on this channel. I believe there's at least 2 videos that I've done up to this point now. One I did by myself, and the other I did on the panel with my other co-hosts. And we talked about Marvin Sapp and the entire Close the Door soundbite that has been created from that. And since then, Marvin Sapp has gone on a tour, a media tour, to disprove everyone's thoughts about him and what he did and what he had to say. And he's really tried to clean up, if you will, I guess the backlash that he's gotten from this. And unfortunately, instead of him apologizing, right, for how he came off, instead of him apologizing for what he said, and instead of correcting and standing on, that for being a part of that please forgive me journey, he decided to double and triple down on it. And I'm about to show you how. But remember when I told y'all before, when I did the video on Creflo Dollar, that the ministers and the preachers and pastors today that y'all be listening to, and when y'all go to church, and how I told y'all they're all full of shit. All of them and this prosperity preaching that has become a huge, huge part of religion and the church now, especially in the black community, in the white community as well, because I've seen some ridiculous shit over there. I mean, we had the pastor over there that closed the gate, that closed his doors, on the people when they were going through that entire disaster over there. I forgot his church name. White pastor over there ended up closing his doors, wouldn't let anybody in.
Television pastor Joel Osteen is speaking out this morning, answering critics who say he waited too long to open his Houston megachurch to flood victims. The building, once a 16,000-seat arena, is now filling up with volunteers, supplies, and evacuees. But that didn't happen until yesterday. Osteen says the church itself was threatened by floodwaters and there were safety concerns. And earlier on CBS This Morning, he said Lakewood has never closed its doors to people in need.
We worked with the city constantly. The city set up a shelter about 4 miles from here that can house 10,000 people, showers, dormitories, kitchens, security, all that. They didn't need us as a shelter at that point. They wanted us to be a distribution center, things like that. So we said, fine, you do that, we'll do our part, never dreaming that we'd have so many people needing shelters. When they filled up, they said we need shelters, we started our shelter.
Osteen says Lakewood is raising money for storm victims and will continue to do so.
But it's just, I'm not surprised, right? I told you I've been around church for a very long time. But this Marvin Sapp shit here, let me tell you why it's so fucking disgusting. Actually, let me show you why it's so disgusting.
Close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. I said close them doors.
Yeah, that soundbite you just heard was from Marvin Sapp, who is apparently releasing a Close the Door sound track. And it was supposed to release yesterday, I believe. Yeah, on Good Friday. Listen, y'all, if this isn't proof that the church is a fucking joke and that all these pastors care about and these pimps in the pulpit, all they care about is profit and getting y'all money, I don't know what it's hard. You know what's hard? There's two things. You know how hard it is to find a good pastor? Finding a good pastor today is like finding a good soulmate. Like I liken those two to be in the same boat with one another as far as difficulty goes. You know how hard it is to find a genuine pastor, a genuine flock leader that is in it for the love of God and not for the love of the fucking money. Do you know how difficult that is? I told y'all in the last video, my pastor worked a 9-to-5 job in order to support his church. He did. He worked, and at one point he took on 2 jobs. He worked a full-time job and then he had a part-time job, and he still came to church and preached on Sunday because that was his level of dedication into building his church and building his flock. He cared more about the message and spreading the word of God than he did what was coming through, the money that was coming through the door. You know how rare that is to find these days? But this fool right here, I'm going to read it. It says, "Close the Door isn't just a song. It's a soundtrack for survival." This is Marvin Sapp talking, by the way. This isn't me making this up. This isn't somebody else that made this up. Marvin Sapp put this out here, and this was the post that he made. This was his announcement. Okay? "Close the Door isn't just a song," he said. "It's a soundtrack for survival." What a fucking crock of shit. Anyway, he says, "I'm releasing it this Good Friday, the day we honor the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Just like he closed the door on death, hell, and the grave, I'm closing the door on the noise, the pain, and everything that tried to break me." Listen, bro. Listen, man. You fucking... I don't know how anybody can look at this and be like, all right, that's enough. That's a fuck enough. I don't give a good goddamn what song you made. This right here, this is what he had to say. The last few weeks have been tough. Misunderstood, misrepresented, misinterpreted, and even maligned. No, you weren't misunderstood. You weren't misinterpreted. We heard you very clearly. You were understood very clearly. You told the ushers to close the fucking doors. And you told the people that they could leave when they passed the altar and shelled out that $20 that you asked them for, that you told them to give. Where did we misinterpret? Where do we malign you? Where do we misunderstand you? Anyhow, that's what he said. Last few weeks have been tough, misunderstood, misrepresented, misinterpreted, and even maligned. But I've learned that when life hands you lemons, you don't just make lemonade. You build the lemonade company. Oh, this motherfucker here, yo. And that's exactly what I've done. Close the Door isn't just a song. It's a soundtrack. All right, that's the shit we just read. He says, "This song will bless you. I believe that with everything in me, my assignment in this season through this song is to help you close the door to, available on all streaming platforms this Good Friday." So in the face of scrutiny, in the face of embarrassment, and in the face of being a complete fucking scam artist and a grifter, what he decided to do was, instead of apologize, he decided to use this moment to promote his fucking album and promote a song that was supposed to be released yesterday. Hey, listen, y'all. Where's my Bible? I think my Bible was on my shelf upstairs. You don't need none of this shit, yo. All this feel good shit that we be going to church for, that's all it is. All this emotional shit, that's all it is. In the moment, it feels good. You feel like you're a part of a community. You feel like something is touching your spirit, something is touching your soul. But let me tell you right now, you don't need none of that shit. You don't need none of that in order to align yourself with God's purpose. You do not need it. You don't need it at all. That's even if you believe in God. Some of y'all might not. And I don't hold y'all to the fire for that. You believe in whatever it is that you want to. I can't tell you what to believe in. But if you are a so-called believer, you don't need Marvin Sapp to lead you into the arms of the Lord. You don't need Marvin. You certainly don't need Marvin Sapp standing on the fucking pulpit telling you to donate to him $20 when he's already a multi millionaire. This shit has gotten out of hand. I hope that at some point in the future we can get all of these nasty ass, disgusting ass, grifting ass pastors the fuck out of here. That's what my prayer is to God. I had somebody show up in the comments of the last video that we did talking about Marvin Sapp, saying that they were clearly upset. They was emotional. It was a woman for sure, no doubt. But she showed up in the comments and she said, he didn't lie. He didn't tell them to close the doors. He was misrepresented. Respectfully, shut your stupid ass up. You're not smart enough to have this conversation with me. You're not intelligent enough to have the conversation. You're not even intelligent enough to understand what it is that I'm saying or the point it is that I'm making. You just sit back in your seat with your stupid ass church hat on and make sure you pay pastor that fucking money that you owe him. All right? Everybody else, drop a comment down below. I'll see you on the next one.